Here is body-worn and in-car camera video from this incident, beginning with the police officer's traffic stop.
13, I'll be on there. What's up, sir?
Sí, buenas.
Hey, oh, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
La razón que te pares por el video. No puedes tener tense en esos tres, ¿ok?
Oh, pero pues así yo así la compré.
¿Así lo compraste?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Me permite su licencia, por favor?
La verdad no tardo.
¿No tienes?
No.
¿Dónde vienen?
Vengo de trabajar ahorita, de aquí de la... ¿Cómo se llama?
¿Español también?
Sí.
¿Tiene ID usted?
As the officer speaks with the driver, Mr. Alas can be seen seated in the front passenger seat. When both occupants tell the officer they do not have identification, the officer requests an additional unit to assist. A second officer arrives within 2 minutes, and the driver is asked to step out of the vehicle.
Sí. Voy a poner el teléfono aquí, ¿ok?
Moments later, Mr. Alas is instructed to exit the vehicle.
Hello. You have any weapons or anything on you? No. No? Can I check just to make sure?
The officer asked Mr. Alas if he had any weapons, which he denied. When instructed to step away from the vehicle, Mr. Alas suddenly turned and ran up the freeway on-ramp while reaching toward his waistband.
All right, come here. Let's go walk over here. Hey! Stop!
A Burbank police officer initiated a brief foot pursuit. However, Mr. Alas evaded capture by entering a maintenance access door within the freeway sound wall and fleeing into an area of dense vegetation situated between the wall and a wash in a nearby residential neighborhood. Around the same time, an officer searching the suspect's vehicle located 9mm ammunition inside a bag on the front passenger seat where Mr. Alas had been seated. This information was broadcast to assisting personnel.
13, be advised, in the little satchel where the passenger was sitting, there's a little case full of ammunition.
Based on officers' observations and evidence located within the vehicle, officers believed Mr. Alas may have been armed. However, there was no definitive evidence that he was in possession of a weapon. Officers developed a tactical plan to use a police K-9 to help locate and apprehend the individual who was concealed within the vegetation. However, no response was received. At about 8:03 p.m., the search utilizing the police K-9 began. Police K-9 Spike, who was wearing a ballistic vest, climbed up the embankment approximately 50 yards ahead of the officers and entered the dense vegetation. Moments after Spike moved into the brush, officers heard multiple gunshots coming from the area.
Kill your light and your rifle. Pause!
Following the shooting of the police K-9, officers continued efforts to contain Mr. Alas and monitor his movements using all available resources. As additional police resources responded, the police helicopter remained overhead and monitored Mr. Alas' position and relayed observations to officers on the ground.
Based on drone footage, I'm getting no reaction.
Go up on the freeway. No.
And I can now hear the announcement.
No, I never was. So, get the equipment truck.
Water hose is ready. Copy. Get ready to go with the flashbang. T2 remain thorough announcements both in English and in Spanish.
At 11:15 p.m., police personnel directed water from a hose connected to the Glendale Police Department's Medcat into the dense brush where Mr. Alas was believed to be concealed. Immediately thereafter, Mr. Alas fired a gun toward officers, striking the Medcat just inches from one of the personnel positioned nearby.
Shot fired.
Shot fired.
3 shots fired. These are outbound. Do a roll call. Everyone at T3 to go
At 11:16 p.m., Mr. Alas stood up and began running north along the sound wall and embankment, concealing himself within the dense brush before squatting down with the gun still in his hand.
Out the door, running north of the door now. He's at the top of the road, running northbound.
At 11:20 p.m., police personnel positioned on the freeway could see Mr. Alas still armed with a gun.
Moving towards us.
Logan, he's north of the Bearcat now, where that unit is.
Police personnel on the freeway deployed 2 noise flash diversionary devices. However, Mr. Ollis did not respond. Officers instructed Mr. Ollis to put his hands up. However, he refused. His aggressive and assaultive actions precipitated an officer-involved shooting.
Guns in his hand! Guns in his hand!
2 Burbank police officers returned fire from the freeway above Mr. Ollis' location, while 2 additional Burbank police officers and 1 Glendale police officer returned fire from a pathway along the wash. Mr. Ollis was struck, causing him to fall to the ground. However, he maintained control of his gun.
Behind you, behind you.
At about 11:21 p.m., Mr. Ollis pointed his firearm at the officers, which precipitated another officer-involved shooting. 4 Burbank police officers and 1 Glendale police officer fired, fatally wounding Mr. Ollis.
His legs are moving! Don't move! Drop the gun! Still has a gun in his hand. He's proned out. He's moving. Pointing the gun down the wash. Shots fired from my partners.
Police officers safely approached Mr. Ollis and rendered first aid. Paramedics who were already staged on scene at a short distance away arrived shortly afterwards and continued life-saving measures. Mr. Ollis succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced deceased at the scene. Investigators determined that the object in Mr. Ollis' hand was an unserialized 9mm handgun. This same weapon was used to fatally wound the police K-9 and to fire at officers during the incident. Mr. Ollis was a documented 18th Street gang member with a criminal history that included several arrests for weapons-related charges and an arrest in El Centro in 2010 for illegal re-entry into the United States following a prior deportation.